What's going on, everybody? It's Lightning Snow back today with another video. I got my boy Kyle Kenny back today. Say hey to everybody.
What's up, guys?
Man, I'm telling you, we tried tooth and nail for this video. We've been wanting to do this video for a long time.
He's not even
Uh,
playing, guys. We've probably been pushing this back for the last 2 months.
I know. I, I posted about it in my community post on YouTube, and people I did like a voting poll of different video ideas, and this got second. And people were like harping on me on Instagram and my other YouTube channel just to when I'm gonna get to it. So we're finally here, guys. Finally. But yeah, I'm excited about this video because this is a video that's like a video topic that's really popular on YouTube, and so you can tell what we're talking about is what if Itachi had the Rinnegan. So we're kind of nitpicking around this video and in terms of the time period in which we're talking about because there's only a few like certain references in the series that we can really discuss how things would be impactful with Itachi with the Rinnegan. And we're not really doing this from a narrative point of view. We are, but we aren't. As my boy Kyle Kenny kind of made it seem, is it's gonna be like Itachi overthrowing the Akatsuki sort of thing, like and so the point of reference that we're using as a base for going forward is the Pain Invasion arc like era. So he's gonna be fighting different bosses, but the first boss he goes for is Pain, and then on forward as the story progresses. So I mean that's pretty much the preface for the video. The second thing I want to bring up is we're talking about Itachi with one Rinnegan. And yes, we're again narrative stuff kind of going out of the way. We're not going to go into semantics about how he gets the Rinnegan. Let's just say it's he unlocked it or he awakened it, whatever. If you want to say he transplanted it, whatever. But yeah, so just one Rinnegan Itachi, and yeah, so that pretty much does it. So Itachi with Rinnegan versus Pain. This is going to be kind of tough because I mean Itachi's got 6 opponents to deal with, but at the same time, this is kind of Itachi with his healthy reserve of chakra plus a Rinnegan. And the Rinnegan's kind of tricky because, like, yes, when you have, as Obito said in the War Arc, it took all he had just to like handle one Rinnegan. So, but at the same time, Itachi does have that jutsu absorption ability, so he can just, get or absorb more chakra. So I mean, I feel like that kind of counters his chakra and stamina problem. Wouldn't you say, Kenny?
Yeah, I'd agree, and we actually hadn't mentioned it yet. We're talking about like a hypothetical healthy Itachi, right? Not the sick cancer Itachi that we had before.
No, if we were talking about that Itachi, he died waking up in the morning from the
That,
Rinnegan.
that's why I wanted to bring it up because like I was thinking about, I was like, man, if he's still sick, the Rinnegan's really not gonna help him much.
No, no, this is definitely a healthy Itachi hypothetical. So, like, and like, I mean, I don't know. I would want to say that like Itachi would. I think Itachi could beat Pain if he had the Rinnegan, and if he's healthy, like I know Pain has both Rinnegan, so he technically should be stronger than someone who has one. But at the same time, Itachi does have a lot more hacks to him. And for all we know, like, the Rinnegan might boost a lot of Itachi's jutsu. Like, case in point, like, a Rinnegan, granted it was a Renne Sharingan, but that took Sasuke's Susanoo that just had like legs only to a perfect Susanoo. So for all we know, like a regular Rinnegan might actually power up Itachi's Susanoo to a similar extent. Maybe not perfect Susanoo, but maybe one that could like, sprout legs and be a lot more mobile than the clanky one that was moving around during his fight with Sasuke. So um, I don't know. Kenny, I mean, does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, I was just trying to imagine what his Susanoo would look like with. I imagine like little chicken legs on it instead of actual fully grown legs. But I don't know. For some reason, I like his Susanoo better the way it is because I always see his Susanoo as being like a defense type of Susanoo. So the fact that it's not mobile, it's stationary, kind of like a tank to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that kind of feeling too. Because when you first see it, it's like humongous, and it's like one of the biggest things you've seen like ever. Like it, like it's almost comparable to size, but to like Orochimaru's eight-headed serpent summon thing. So,
Yeah, so I
uh,
really just can't imagine it, actually moving.
but let's say for conversation's sake that it did, though. Like,
I think it
I
would
mean,
definitely be extremely useful for that fight, if nothing else, to help take out the summons.
yeah.
Because mobility is going to be a big factor for being able to take out the summons in that fight.
And he wouldn't have to worry about much of the other hacks abilities from the other paths of pain, like the one that can absorb ninjutsu. He can just one shot it with a sword, or the Totsuka blade. Same thing with the Naraka path, the one that shoots missiles and whatever. Literally just one shots it, and no matter what, like all the laser beams and whatnot, and that they're getting deflected either from the Susanoo's armor itself or from the Yadamir, and this Susanoo would definitely help a lot more with Almighty Push. The only thing
I was
that
about to
Pain
ask
could
that. Would it? How well would it stand up against push? Would it be ineffective? Less
no,
effective?
I think less effective. Like I don't think it's going to be completely like ineffective towards Itachi, especially if Pain uses like a chaotic Almighty Push, like the one he used to blow up the Leaf Village.
Yeah.
I honestly think that like that might. I don't want to say it would break through the Yadamir. I feel like the Yadamir might be the only thing that would like actually keep the Susanoo from being broken apart.
Well, I
Like,
think
it,
because we kind of did some research into that for another video, and didn't it say that basically the only thing the Yadamir couldn't reflect would be like a truth-seeking orb,
yeah, because
or maybe Sage Chakra.
both because like the way that the data books describe the Yadamir, its components are similar. Like the way it's made up is similar to how the truth seeking orbs are made up. So like, sage energy could be used to destroy the Yadamir. That's a theory. It's a very sound theory. So like, I'm I'm one of those people that believes in that theory personally. Other people are entitled to their own opinions, but I would agree with that. So, um, but I, I mean,
It's not really gonna help Pain out in this fight though.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But
Yeah.
like going back to the Almighty Push though, like if he were to use like like a giant, like chaotic Almighty Push, if we're talking about the armor itself, I think it'd get broken through from that. But I don't know how it would handle the Yadamir. Like I don't know if the Yadamir will be able to, because it apparently again according to the data book, it alters its properties to collide with whatever it's colliding with. So like I
I
mean
mean,
maybe that's
technically,
kind of like
he could very easily handle that Path of Pain if Yadamir can reflect it, because that's gonna put Pain in a stationary position for the
mhm,
Totsuka blade.
yeah.
So it'd be very similar to how he took out Nagato in the reincarnated fight, reanimated.
Yeah, yeah, and the only thing that I can see Payne really pulling this off is him launching planetary devastation. But if
I don't know if he'd pull out that card fast enough, if that makes sense.
no, I don't. I wouldn't say either because as soon as if Itachi, assuming Itachi knows the ins and outs of the Rinnegan, like I assume he probably would. He'd probably see like what Payne's about to do, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just launches a Namaterasu right at Payne and just roasts him alive before he gets a chance to get that gravity sphere off. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think Itachi and Payne fight like with the Rinnegan. I think Itachi's got this more often than not.
Yeah,
So
I definitely agree. Just if nothing else, because of his defense capabilities.
yeah,
I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of attacks since he mainly relied on Genjutsu most of the series. But
yeah. Well, unfortunately, in this fight, I don't. It's still arguable whether or not like visual Genjutsu would even work on the past, but I don't think you even need Genjutsu to be perfectly honest. Especially if we're giving Itachi that kind of Susanoo that's more mobile and arguably stronger. Yeah, I don't think Genjutsu is going to play a big factor.
yeah, and we got to see some of his speed in the fight with Nagato, between him, Naruto, and Nagato. So We know speed
Yeah,
wise he can blitz him if he needs to. You know what I mean? Like speed's
yeah,
not gonna be a problem here.
yeah. So going on to that, we'll go ahead and just go on to the next boss we were going to go over is, you know, in the timeline, I guess you can say Edo Nagato. Like, how would Itachi do against, this Nagato? It's gonna be tougher, but then kind of easier at the same time because Itachi's focus isn't gonna be as divided as it would be against, you know, Six Paths of Pain. Now I've said me and Kenny because we did a Itachi versus Nagato video a while back, and we said Nagato freaking stomps Itachi for the most part. But again, that was the Itachi that was a little bit less hacks than the one we're talking about now.
Yeah, and we,
So
we also took a well. Alright, so we said with planetary devastation, Nagato crushes. We said without it, Itachi puts up a decent fight. I think is what
yeah,
that video boiled down to.
yeah. Well, that and like Izanagi. It's like we gave Itachi kind of Izanagi too. That if
Yeah.
he landed on Nagato, then he's done. I would try to see if like Itachi might be able to pull this off without having to resort to Izanagi or Izanami. So, but even if he does, though, like granted, worst case scenario, that's not like a total loss. Like, yeah, like the Amaterasu and the Tsukuyomi is gonna be a really big hassle to lose. But then he still has a Rinnegan with a whole bunch of hacks abilities. So, like, if they were to come down to the worst case scenario and he has to resort to Izanami and lose his Sharingan, like, it's not gonna be too big of an issue. I don't feel like. I mean, personally, because if we're being honest, if the fight drags out long enough anyway, like Itachi might start going blind and losing his eye anyway. So,
I mean, if we go
and
and give him Rinnegan, we might as well go and give him an Eternal Mangekyo too. You know what I mean? Might as well just make it fair.
I wanted to, but like I don't want to overpower Itachi. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I guess we can because like against a Nagato like this, we might. Yeah, we'll give him
I
EMS.
say
Freaking
if our
screw
boy
it.
was able to obtain a Rinnegan through various means, he could find himself an eye.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, freaking Obito's got him lying around everywhere
You
anyway.
know,
So who
cause
cares?
now he doesn't need to free himself from reanimation, so he can just take it back from the crow.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. He has Chisui's eye like implanted in that crow.
Yep.
So that's true. Okay.
So
You know what?
now,
That's fine.
not only do we have Rinnegan, but we have the ultimate
EMS.
visual prowess.
Yep. That had. So he has. So if we're talking about that, then he has Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, Kodo Matsukami, and worst case scenario, Izanami and Izanagi in case he needs it. On top of the Rinnegan.
Now, and another factor we hadn't really considered going into this fight, there's gonna be I can't say how long, but there's time between the pain and fighting Nagato where he has time to master those abilities, master the Rinnegan a little more. You know, and you gotta think if it's like thing about the growth we've seen with Kakashi going into War Arc, if his chakra reserves get that same kind of buff going into this fight.
Well, it'd be freaking insane. Like Itachi is not gonna have much stamina problems at all to begin with. Let alone, like you said, if we're given this like the same amount of time slash chakra buff that everyone else gets in the War Arc, then yeah, like I mean, I guess like that would be the only thing that Itachi would have to worry about is chakra reserves. Now that he has now that we're putting EMS on the table, and like you said, I don't think. And like even if that is a problem though, like he has the jutsu absorption that he can just use to absorb more chakra. So it's like even if that were the case, even if that were the problem, I don't think it'd be much of a huge problem. You know what I'm saying? So so I mean, how do you think this fight goes down? Like Nagato and Itachi, I mean, just should we
And
just
I really think he'd utterly destroy Nagato, honestly. Because
I mean,
I
he's
don't,
the
I don't
only
think
reason.
we had to bring it up yet, but if he's
I
gonna
mean, he's the
have
only
if
reason.
he's having Sasuke's teleporting ability along
Yeah,
with his Rinnegan, you know what I mean? Like he could very easily blitz and Totsuka Blade Nagato.
that's true. Yeah, me and Kenny were kind of like wondering if we should give Itachi that Sasuke's warping swapping ability that he does in the Boruto era. So it's like, I mean, we can go ahead. I feel like it's reasonable to give him that because he is Sasuke's brother. So I feel as though if Sasuke somehow, and that's never really explained how he gets it, like because it wasn't explained that was a Rinnegan ability in the first place. So it's like I don't know. I'm not sure if it's like a Sharingan, like how the Sharingan works, where you just get an ability for whoever gets it. I guess I'm not entirely sure. So, like because
And
it's Sasuke's brother,
it's kind of
I
like
feel,
I mentioned to you the other day when we kind of started discussing it. It was technically Itachi's eye that got Rinnegan on Sasuke.
yeah, that's true because it was Sasuke's EMS through Itachi's eyes.
Yes, I feel like
So
it's fair to assume that if Itachi's eye got the Rinnegan by some means,
then
then
Itachi should have this ability too, like whatever
yeah,
ability that Sasuke has. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, yeah. So we can give him that, and if that is the case, like you said, freaking, he'll warp all day long and Totsuka Blade eventually.
yep,
Like,
he could warp, he could Totsuka Blade, he could pull to the Totsuka Blade.
you know what? Like, what he could do is like if because there was a certain scenario in that fight in the original series that Nagato was on his giant bird or whatever. Like, Itachi could literally summon his Susanoo and swap out himself with that bird, like right in there, and just impale Nagato, like
And
right up the crack, bro. Like,
we hadn't even discussed this option, and this would be wild. Even if Nagato goes for planetary devastation, as it's closing, Itachi could body swap with a rock.
that's true. Yeah,
So he could
like
just,
he can
or
go.
like he could either swap with a rock to get out of it, or he could him and Nagato swap spots.
Yeah, true. Like, yeah, that is true. That would be the sickest way to end it.
And
Like,
Nagato gets trapped in his own
yeah,
planetary
exactly.
devastation.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because like I was thinking that as you said that I was thinking like maybe he can like swap his body with like the last rock that's being pulled up, and then that would give him enough time to. But then I didn't think about him like swapping places with Nagato. That'd be such an Itachi win too. Like honestly, I could see Itachi doing something like that, like staying so calm as he's being lifted up, and he's like, "Yeah, you thought you had me, but I got a surprise." And he just swaps it
He does
out.
that finger thing he did to Sasuke.
Oh yeah, yeah, true. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Honestly, that's a route right there in worst case scenario. And so, yeah. I mean, I think we just go ahead and gloss over that. So, who should we cover? Because we kind of skipped over the Five Kage Summit. Do you think we should like? I mean, I guess there'd be no reason for we don't need to discuss it. We're talking about Itachi trying to overthrow the Akatsuki. There's really no reason for.
And I think if we do the 5 Kage Summit, it's just I put this video at a time frame. I don't know if people want to watch it.
Yeah, true. So we'll skip the Five Kage Summit. So let's go on to Obito, and specifically the White Mask War Arc Obito. Now this one's gonna be tougher. Well, I think it'll be the same kind of ballpark than the Nagato one. It's just again
The
Obito
White
can
Mask by
fade.
itself isn't awful. Now, if it was like the 10 Tails, then
No.
we'd have a problem. But
Yeah, no. Right now we're just talking about the White Mask Rinnegan Obito. Like,
the
I
White
feel like
Mask
it'd be
isn't even a huge problem now either because the teleportation from the Rinnegan that he's got. So he could
Yeah.
warp into the other dimension to fight him there if he needed to.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, that's true. If we're giving him that, yeah, I didn't even think about that. But like, I wonder if I've never been really clear about that. I guess he could because I was always clear. I wasn't really clear on how he'd be able to get to Obito's specific dimension like without using actual Kamui. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never knew if like that was something But then, I mean, we see Sasuke in the Boruto era like
He just goes
knowingly.
wherever he wants to.
Yeah, exactly. He knows where he's going, essentially. So I guess, yeah, that's true. I mean,
I feel like it's
yeah,
like if he just thought of Obito, I don't know if that's how it would be. If he would just to kind of picture Obito, it would take him to where Obito is.
you know what?
You
I
know,
could see this happening. I could see this happening if like Obito or Itachi might bait Obito to suck him into the Kamui dimension, and then Itachi teleports right back out, and then like once he's got the dimension in his mind, then if Obito decides to teleport to the Kamui dimension or phase through like the Kamui dimension, Itachi knows where to go now. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's at. So like Itachi, like I said, he can think of that dimension and just hop right through.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
If it does
Ita-
work that way, and by then he would know how it works, then he'd have a plan for that. Because
yeah.
I
So
do think that if we're going by uh, mental abilities, I would definitely put Itachi higher than Obito.
yeah,
Like
I don't know.
Obito's not dumb, but like if you were just to compare how they were growing up, Obito is
Yeah,
kind
that's
of Naruto.
true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is
Whereas you
true.
got Itachi as a genius.
Yeah, Itachi definitely has a lot more feats to go off of intelligence. Obito just acquired such an intelligence over the years. It's so crazy. Like, I mean,
But
I just
you gotta think he had Zetsu kind of as his personal tutor, who had seen all of the shinobi world,
true.
start from the bottom.
Yeah, that is true. I just feel like both Obito and Itachi are similar as to where how much they plan ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in any case, I think you're right though. I think as straight battle IQ, yeah, I think Itachi is definitely scaling above Obito. So yeah,
Yeah,
and I
'cause
could
to
definitely
me, Obito hasn't really needed battle IQ. It's literally just, I'm gonna phase through this guy's punch, and then I'm gonna punch him.
true. Yeah, and just him getting experience throughout the years just kind of like helped also. So like I could definitely see what you're saying there, and like I think, I mean, I don't know, because
The better way to word it, I cannot imagine Toby outsmarting Itachi.
yeah, that is true. I could kind of see Obito reverting back to Toby just to kind of throw Itachi off in any
That'd be
kind of
so
way.
weird to see. Could you
That'd be
imagine seeing
hilarious.
Ten Tails Obito act like Toby?
Kobe. Ugh, I don't, dude. I like he can go and just kill me. I'm not dealing with this troll as a 10 tails. I'm not doing it. That'd be funny. But yeah. So I can see that. So I mean, if that's the case, then Kamui might be rendered useless for Obito. Then if we put it to that, and being Itachi being able to literally get to the Kamui dimension whenever Obito phases through, because at that point, like Obito could make shadow. Oh, not Obito, but Itachi could make shadow clones, and like send them to whatever dimension, like the Kamui dimension, and just have them wait for Obito in case he phases through any of the attacks. The problem that Itachi would have to face, however, is if we give Obito the tail beast that we saw in the series.
Well, you're not wrong there, but if we're being serious, Obito probably wouldn't make it to War Arc anyways, because Itachi could assassinate him whenever he so chose to.
Yeah, but
So then he wouldn't even be in a
assuming that
scenario to summon the tailed beast.
yeah, it just I don't know, because I mean the more I think about it, it's just like, if we're talking about the timeline that we're talking about, if we're going off that timeline, Obito is really like hiding out like places and looking for the Rinnegan. So like, I I can see your point though. Like I can see like Itachi like taking all kinds of measures to like hunt Obito down. So I mean, maybe I was just like posing as a hypothetical, like what would happen if they actually fought in this scenario.
Yeah.
Which when I think about it though, like maybe the tail beast may not be a problem, because if we're talking about a Itachi who has the Susanoo that we're talking about earlier, then it's a lot more mobile, and honestly, they're like, the targets are big enough to like stab them with a tentacle blade and like literally just one shot them. You know what I'm saying? And as we're talking about earlier, like the speed that Itachi has, I think it's either Amaterasu or the tentacle blade is literally one shotting them. Let alone like any kind of like almighty push or planetary. I mean, he could probably just planetary devastation and wrap them all up.
He could.
You know what I'm saying?
Really, what's stopping
Well, you know what?
Itachi from
Actually,
summoning the tailed beast to fight Obito?
well, the fact that Obito already has them under their control. But what I didn't think about though is that, because you remember how Sasuke put all the tail beasts under a Genjutsu whenever he was about to fight Naruto?
Mm-hmm.
Itachi can do the same thing. Like he might be able to override Obito's
That's what I'm
control
saying.
over
He's
the.
gonna have this. He's more stacked than Sasuke was. Besides this whole six paths thing. But if he's gonna be having Shisui's eye, which is supposed to be the strongest of the Sharingans, on top of a
True.
Rinnegan, I, I don't see any reason
On
he
top of
couldn't overthrow regular Obito Rinnegan. Or not
true,
Rinnegan, Sharingan.
well, and also if we're talking about like stacking on stacking, you know what I'm saying? Like if we're talking about Itachi's Genjutsu potency on top of Shisui's potency on top of a Rinnegan, yeah, that you might have a point there that he might be able to override because like Obito's no Genjutsu slouch. Like he was able to like control the three tails, the Jinchuriki. Like even though it's supposed to be said that like Jinchuriki can't be controlled by Genjutsu, but so like Obito's definitely pretty good at Genjutsu. But we're talking about Itachi, right off the bat as a master of Genjutsu on top of having Shisui's Eye and a Rinnegan. So yeah, I think you got a point there. He might be able to override Obito's control over the Tail Beast and turn them on him. Not to
Yeah.
mention,
He might
if
be able to just
Obi-
outright Genjutsu Obito in the first place.
he could, but I feel like Obito might be like, you know, quick to know to know that he's dealing with Itachi and not to like look Itachi in the eye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
but could
like
you imagine trying to fight a Rinnegan EMS Itachi without looking at him?
on top of what, like 6 or 7 tailed beast.
If he did steal him,
Yeah,
basically might as well
yeah,
just
that'd be
off yourself.
yeah,
It's
it's true. So yeah, I would say Itachi takes that win too.
Oh, we're gonna be called
I mean,
Itachi Tards after this one.
you know what?
It's done.
I don't ever talk about Itachi, so they can go for it. I really don't talk about Itachi a whole lot, so they can really call me Itachi
I feel
Tar they
like he
want.
loses most of the fights we put him in.
You talking about this scenario?
Not this scenario, but I mean like most times we talk about Itachi. He
Oh
tends
yeah,
to
definitely,
lose.
yeah.
You know, like we always have
Well,
to give a handicap to somebody or make him
well,
healthy.
realistically, realistic, healthy or not, realistically, without a Rinnegan and in this same scenarios that they put, Itachi would probably still lose more often than not. So, like, it's not as if we're just putting a hypothetical buff on him to see what would happen. So, going on to Madara, like specifically the Madara that we got reanimated. So,
With Rinnegan?
um, yeah, with Rinnegan.
Okay. Didn't know if we're
This
doing one
one,
with no eyeballs because that
this
dude was
might be the
still a
last.
monster.
Yeah, I know. This one might be the last one we talk about. We might do a part two, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but this will be the last one we talk about. I don't really know how if I'm gonna spitball my answer real quick before we start discussing. I think Madara probably takes it. Um,
He's
maybe
just
that's
so
giving too.
overpowered.
Maybe that's giving Madara too much credit. Like assuming that like
Is it like alright, well let's put it like this though. What could he do to stop that meteor summoning?
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, that was the
Like
first thing I was gonna bring up. Like he drops that meteor, Itachi's done. Well,
I mean can he suck him up into a planetary devastation? Is that strong enough? Can Totsuka Blade? You
uh,
know, like they're so big.
I don't think Totsuka Blade would be able to do it. If he did do planetary devastation or Almighty Push, it'd have to be like he'd have to take every ounce of chakra that he had to
Meanwhile
destroy it. And
meanwhile Madara didn't use hardly any.
well, that
Well he
said meanwhile,
reanimated so
well that too, but like meanwhile, a second one's being dropped right off the bat. You know what I'm saying?
true.
Like because he dropped a second one right after he dropped that first one. So like if by some miracle planetary devastation was or Almighty Push or either one was able to destroy that first one, that second one is hitting within no time at all. So it's like, I mean,
I don't know how Hashirama fought this guy.
I know it's crazy. And the the meteor aside, like I mean, maybe Genjutsu. Like that'd be like the surefire way to be able to beat him. But I mean,
Yeah, but if we're given Rinnegan, if we're doing the Rinnegan Madara, then we discussed in a previous video, the Rinnegan really can't be affected by the Genjutsu that well.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean,
So like it'd work against the Obito we had discussed because he only had the Sharingan, unless I'm mistaken.
no, you're right. Well,
Yeah, so
then
it'd be
and that
okay against him, but we don't have any
well, and then
proof
this
we could do Rinnegan against it.
yeah, well, and in this case, Itachi's best chance is to seal Madara with a Totsuka blade, and
Assuming he can make
I don't
contact.
exactly. Yeah, I don't really know because I mean Madara without the Susanoo was already really nimble. Like he was already like tearing through thousands of feetless shinobi, but at the same time, when he fought the five Kage, he was kind of reacting decently against like people like the Raikage speed and and finessing five Kage at
I would
once.
say my
Not to
dude came in
mention,
against 5 Kage and treated him like a warm up session, like hot
yeah,
yoga.
exactly. Yeah, he had like what 25 wood clones who could all use like Susanoo. So like
Yeah,
I
there's really
mean,
nothing Itachi can do against that.
yeah, like maybe he could summon the Ghetto statue, and then well, if we're giving the summons to Itachi, they might be able to take it. Like they might be able to take those wood clones.
Yeah, but there's
So,
also a chance that Madara could overpower Itachi for possession of the tails.
well, I was talking about the pain summons. If we're doing like a straight
Oh, the
hypothetical,
pain. Okay, I got you. I thought you were talking
yeah.
about tail beast.
Well, I mean, either way, I mean, we're talking about Madara who has a Rinnegan also, so he might be able to. I don't know. That's a
I'm
weird.
thinking if
That
Raikage and Tsunade boosted couldn't bust a Susanoo, those summons ain't doing anything
yeah. Well,
besides being a
even if that
nuisance.
yeah, exactly. Well, even if that were the case, like Perfect Susanoo, he whips it out. I mean, Itachi's done. Like, I mean, even with Itachi's like stronger hypothetical Susanoo now, like, the Perfect Susanoo is gonna freaking shatter it apart. I feel. Well, maybe not to that extent, but I
There's a
mean,
reason Madara is the king of the Uchiha. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah. People are people are gonna hate on me for that too, because like people already think that Itachi can beat Madara, but
No way in hell.
now that we're giving Itachi all this amp and we still say Itachi loses, like, I mean, I'm just saying,
The
he
dude
came in
went out in early Shippuden.
exactly. I mean, I don't know. Well,
Like even if he let Sasuke win,
yeah.
he wasn't that much stronger than Sasuke.
Uh, I don't know if
Like
I go that
I'm
far.
not saying
Well, okay, at
drastically
the
enough
time,
to be able to say he could handle Madara.
yeah. Well, at the time, because of his sickness or whatever, but I feel like if it was a full healthy Itachi, he'd be leagues above that Sasuke that he fought.
Oh,
In
I'm
my
sure he'd
own
be way
opinion.
above that Sasuke, but like even reanimated, him and Sasuke had to run from Kabuto, and Kabuto ain't
That's
fucking with Madara.
true. That's true. Yeah, I could see. Yeah, because EMS, Sasuke, and Edo Itachi were kind of like relative. Like Itachi was obviously superior, even with all of Sasuke's new like amp or whatever. But Itachi was still like a couple pegs above Sasuke, even in that fight. But like you said, they still had to like depress Kabuto. Um, Speaking of Kabuto, we can kind of gloss over because I mean Kenny and I agree that Madara wins. So I mean, y'all can debate us on that if you want, but we're gonna gloss over that real quick for the sake of the time of the video, and we'll say that Kabuto. I think he handles Kabuto a lot easier this time, even if it was 1v1 in this scenario. Like he didn't want to have Sasuke with him in case like Sasuke was in danger. Like I think Itachi finesses Kabuto a lot
Yeah, and
easier.
even if for whatever reason he couldn't, he can still go back to the same plan as the first go around.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
But there's no
assuming that he
reason
has,
he should have to do that.
yeah, exactly. Well, assuming that he hasn't used Kodo Matsukami yet, like he might save that for Kabuto. Assuming that Sasuke is, not revenge driven right now. So that's a separate topic. But like, like I said, in worst case scenario, he has Izanami or Kodo Matsukami to end the fight within worst case. But honestly, I think he doesn't even need that. He's got like a stronger Susanoo that he can just fully unleash. I mean, he might need that in case the reanimation jutsu is still like up and going. Like he might need the Kodomatsukami or the Izanami to undo the reanimation jutsu. So, I mean, if that is the worst case scenario, then he just loses his Sharingan, but still has a Rinnegan. So it's not as if that's a total loss. So,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all I wanted to gloss over. We might do a part 2 and discuss how we would think he would have done against Jubito and Jubidara, and just even if that video is not super long, we can just do a part 2, I guess. But I think that's all we wanted to cover. So, Kenny, you got anything else?
Nah, I'm good on my end.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you all did enjoy the video. Sorry for the Itachi lovers out there. I mean, we gave Itachi most of the battles in this scenario. I mean, he only loses one fight.
He still can't beat Madara though, guys.
Yeah, and we're talking about Edo, like Edo Madara. We're not even talking about Alive Madara, who would be like stronger. I mean, he may not have a Rinnegan when he first gets brought back, but he still has Sage Jutsu, and he finessed like EMS Sasuke and Tobirama like one after the other, like it was nothing. So, um, yeah, that's gonna do it for us, guys. Thank you, Kyle Kenny, for being on this video.
Anytime. Every 2 months.
And, exactly, yeah. I'll keep you guys posted on what my next video is, and comment below if y'all want a part 2. But until my next video, let us know. Out.